Welcome to Got Invention Radio. I'm your host, Brian Freed, and today we have a gentleman that's created an innovation platform in the Half Hollow Hills School District on Long Island. He's actually responsible for spearheading this whole all these activities that are going on within the school. Doug, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate you bringing me on to this show tonight.
Absolutely. Doug, you are the school business-to-business coordinator. You're a business teacher, and you're also, which is one of my favorite sports, the varsity soccer coach. You have a pretty busy activities, all these things going on in the school. Tell us what you're up to there.
Basically, I've been working at the school for 11 years as a business teacher, mainly focusing on marketing classes, sports marketing, advertising, business ownership and marketing. And I gotten the opportunity to run this school-to-business partnership, which is a networking group within our school, as well as with community members in the school district. So it's basically, this partnership has been a great source of information for the kids. It's been a great networking group for the business students. And I was approached last year from a guy, John Greenhut, who's part of our group. He has a couple daughters in our school, and he has been very successful in launching multiple products out there over the past 20 years. And he approached me saying that he wanted to start a business competition, and the competition would be focused on new concepts. It would be focused on new innovations, ideas, and we kind of got together last year and developed this competition within the community and within the school district, and the kids have gone on to pitch their ideas and concepts to a panel of judges.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love what you're doing there, Doug, and I'm also happy to be a part of it. And what's interesting is that there's so many things out there, like the Shark Tank, for example, that show, and all this innovation that people need to be aware of, that you can come up with ideas. It's just what to do with them and how to go about bringing them to the next level. And that's what you're sharing with the students, which is fantastic. And what you're doing in this school, I thought was important to be on our show for other school districts, whether it's people that are involved with inventions or business teachers like yourself, to implement in their schools and use your model as an example of the different things that are going on there and the success that you've had. So I commend you on what you're doing. I know it's not easy, and I know that from the last year's competition, which we're going to go into, but last year's competition, how many students did you have actually involved?
We had about 24 student teams with between 2 and 4 students per team. We had about 80, 90 kids involved from both Hills East and Hills West. We're a community made up of 2 high schools. We're a pretty large community on Long Island. And basically, we took the kids' ideas, they created a team, and they pitched their products to, again, a panel of judges. And it worked out so well that we ended up doing it this year, and we made it bigger and better, and I can't wait for it to happen in April.
That's great. So tell me, now, the gentleman came to you with this idea, and then it had to be developed, and obviously it needed to be approved, getting the school students and other teachers and so forth involved. So kind of walk us through how you were able to implement this project into the system.
Basically, we at first we formed a small committee. There was a couple other business people, business members that are part of the partnership. And these guys have a wealth of experience. Bruce Sutler, who runs the New York City Inventors Club. There was a guy named David Schwartz who has had a lot of success in marketing. And there was a couple other of our business partnership members that were there. And we kind of developed what we thought could be a great competition for the kids, down to the grading rubric, what they were going to be graded on, how the whole competition was going to work. We actually met 3 or 4 different times. And then the big thing was getting the word out to the students. We called it the the Half Hollow Hills Shark Tank competition last year, which we have since changed, considering that this competition is getting a little bigger as we speak right now. We changed it to the King of the Hills competition. And basically the students were excited right away. As soon as they hear the word competition, they were, inquiring about it. And when we brought it to the table to the students that this was going to be about their inventions, their concepts, their new products, they were super excited. And they, 25 teams jumped on board right away.
Well, that's great. And you also had the activity from last year that people were interested and heard about it and saw it, that they wanted to get involved this year, which is very nice.
That's the thing with the kids. It's all word of mouth. And the best part about this year, this competition, is out of the 35 teams we have signed up right now, I'm going to say about 22 to 24 of them are returning teams from last year. So it was a success when the kids want to do it again.
Oh, that's great. So now you formulated this whole program, the school approved it, and now you needed to get the word out to the kids. Now, when you're getting the word out to the kids, hopefully everybody has their different ways of getting their programs and projects approved within the school district, but now you get it going, and now you want to get the kids involved. So what did you say, Doug? Is it whether you have a new invention, new idea, new business concept, get involved, and what was the incentive to them?
Well, there's a couple incentives. Obviously, prize money helps. Scholarship money that a lot of our companies have donated and sponsored this event. There was the whole idea that they could be considered the best, like the king of or queen of the hills, and we live in Half Hollow Hills. So basically, I marketed this through our various business classes. We have 8 business teachers in the school, and each business teacher talked to, their classes. We ran it through our business clubs that we run, the Future Business Leaders of America and our DECA Club, which are 2 highly popular business clubs around the country. And from there, it became a word-of-mouth type of deal. We had a bunch of other teachers involved in getting the word out to the students. This is a unique concept. I think the whole ABC's whole Shark Tank competition has brought this to the forefront, and it really gets kids thinking, wow, maybe my idea can work. Maybe I could bring this to fruition at some point.
Okay. So now you have these people, the kids that signed up, and I guess you have some kind of meeting for whoever signed up to come in a room and explain what it is that is expected of them and what's involved. And maybe you could just give us a quick premise on that.
Yeah. So, after we meet with the students, we speak about what is going to need to be done on their end for the competition. Basically, it was coming up with a concept or idea, or it could have been. It could be a existing product, just an addition to that product. And basically, we have 4 different phases that the kids would go through. So they would start, phase 1 was the concept idea, just really like the rough idea of what the product or their company or their app will be about. Basically, it would be, you'd have to answer the question, can it work? Can this product work? And what problems were they solving with their idea or product? Kids are funny. I mean, I truly think teenagers have some of the greatest ideas, and they just really don't know how to get it past that idea stage. And hopefully this competition is giving them maybe a leg up on, someone else that has the same idea.
Absolutely. And, it doesn't have to be kids, Doug. There's people at all ages that are listening to the show. I get to have the opportunity to speak to them. People, once you become aware of what's around you in your environment, it's just a matter of taking that next step and doing something about it, or waiting for somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah, I think we all have great ideas. I mean, I've always had great ideas. Bringing it to the table is a different story. Getting it patented and going through all the legal paperwork, that's scary for someone on the outside who's never done that before.
Well, like anything else, when you're not comfortable with something, you might be in that position, and then obviously you get used to it or you find out more information about it, and that's when you're get into the comfort level and be able to continue to do it.
True.
And it becomes like, that's why you hear the term serial inventor, serial entrepreneur. And what's interesting, Doug, is that I've also had a chance to mentor a bunch of kids in various school districts on Long Island and in New York, and even all the way to elementary school I started. And I talk to the kids, and I bring something simple. I say, here's a yo-yo. Everybody know the yo-yo? Yes, everybody knows the yo-yo. Go ahead. Let's play with it. So they play with it, and then you have to stop and you have to wind it. I said, somebody didn't like that they had to wind that yo-yo. So they came up with a rewindable yo-yo, right? It automatically rewinds for you. It goes right into the ball now. So they said, yeah, I see that. I know that. I have that. Great. And then somebody wanted to have this rewindable yo-yo, but they wanted to play with it at night. So they came up with a lighted yo-yo. Somebody wanted to play football, but the pigskin football hurt to play with. So they came up with a Nerf football. Then they came up with a lighted football. And the thing is that when you make the kids aware of the different things that are out there and just paying attention to what's going on and possibly to make it easier or better, or maybe it is something that doesn't exist, but most of the time it's something that's modified enough to be able to say that it's your own. That makes all the difference. Don't you think so, Doug?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then it's just a matter of, they're kids, and a lot of the stuff that we've seen this year with, I don't want to give away any of their ideas, but a lot of it has to do with, charging solutions on their iPhone, different little areas of their car that could be changed and on the inside to make it drivable, easier, to be able to, a lot of the texting while driving, stuff like that, stuff that's part of their lives is what they're looking at. Last year we had a couple great concepts and ideas. I want to get into that a little later. I just want to go through all the different phases as to what's going to happen this year.
Definitely. Let's do it.
So we have the phase one, which is the concept and the rough idea and what problems they're solving. After phase one, I run a school-to-business partnership workshop once per month where I invite all the business partners into the high school library, and they meet with various teams for this competition, and they kind of give them some critical feedback. They're very good in judging what could be a good product, what is a great product, what's not going to work, and how they can help the students. So we did that on phase one in December. Then we entered phase two about a month ago, and the students brought to the table really what their business is all about, the nuts and bolts of that business, the cost to design the product, the cost to produce it, obviously how much they're going to sell it for. They were to identify their target market and any competition that was out there. They had to do some research and development in finding some similar products. And then they presented all this research to their mentor, who was one of the business partners at the January meeting, which was pretty cool. So now we're up to phase three. And the phase three has to do really with the marketing, their marketing plan, their advertising plan, how they're going to get it through social media. And we're going to see that hopefully on Thursday if the weather holds up.
So they've gone through this over about 2 months or so?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So they're with their mentor. They're going back and forth. They're doing their due diligence. Now, are the expectations, Doug, to actually have this commercialized out in the public? I know that it's a competition and there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 or 3 winners, but the people that actually have something, but perhaps they may not have presented it well, or there's other ways for them to be at the top. What's the expectations from the students to bring their ideas to commercialization?
Well, I think first of all, they're gauging how good their product is based on their peers. Some kids have wonderful ideas, they just can't present it well enough. Some kids that have maybe a mediocre idea or product present so well that brings them to the top of the competition. I think it's finding that middle point where they can get a concept that can work and they present it well. Those are the teams